How do you feel about the comparison that has been made between banana and typewriter?
Awkward.
Yeah, awkward. It's very funny. And they do not make sense, right? Why? Yeah, they have nothing to compare. In the next topic, when you compare Hanoi and Saigon, it will be much easier for you to do. So what makes the difference between the first topic and the second topic? When I ask you to compare banana with the typewriter, between those two things, they know Tertium Comparationis. No TC for you to compare. Okay. So another very important thing in contrastive linguistics, when you do a research or when you try to find essays, is to make sure that you find a TC. You cannot compare Vietnamese vocabulary with English grammar, for example. Now, so what is Tertium Comparationis, or TC for short? Comparationis is from Latin. It means comparison, right? Tertium means it has something to do with number 3 or the third level. So TC is the common platform between objects, phenomena, ideas, concepts, structures that make them comparable. Okay. Now, when I compare a square with a rectangle, the TC can be the shape, the number of angles, the side, right? When I compare the two boxes together, the TC can be the volume of the two boxes. It can be the weight of the two boxes. So, volume, weight, number of angles, side length are all TCs in this case. So when I ask you to compare Hanoi and Saigon, what can be the TC? Population, area, what else? The weather, what else?
Pollution.
Yeah, size of interest. Pollution, transportation, yeah. Those are all the possible TCs that have this compare. Now, Joseph Van Drake make a very important point about the Tertium Comparationis. I mean, all languages seem to be different from each other, but actually they have a lot to share. Okay? Deep under those differences, they have lots of things in common. And this is the foundation for general linguistics. Later on, okay, we have, the universal linguistics. Trying to study about sharing and common patterns across languages. Now, before the form of contrastive linguistics, or the crisis of contrastive linguistics, most of the TCs was about formalism. Now, if you relate this to your experience with psychology, with linguistics, with language teaching, from the point of World War II until the 1970s, structural linguistics were influential. Behaviorism in psychology with credentials. In language teaching, audiolingual was, a failure. Because at the time, all those areas focused really on form. And contrastive linguistics, if you really focus on objective, logical, exact account of languages, I mean, if you simply focus on the sound system, on the grammar system, you can only compare languages that are quite close together. And if you move up a little bit to micro-linguistics level, I mean, social-linguistic discourse, or cultural linguistics, there will be lots of problems because you cannot be objective, logical, and exact account. And then this is another reason for the failure of the crisis of contrastive linguistics. Now, this is a quote from Krasowski, and I believe that many of you have already made a copy of this book. This is like a guideline for linguistic comparisons. At best, a comparison based on formal criteria is incomplete. At worst, it cannot be performed at all. For example, when you compare present perfect in English and passé composé in French, some of you here learn French, right? If you look from the formalist viewpoint, one is about present time and one is about the past time. If you really look at the forms, and they do not have anything to share. Right? When you look at the I and do in Vietnamese, for example, we seem to compare first personal pronouns only, and that can be misleading in that many other reference in Vietnamese can also be used as first personal pronoun, right? Like bác đứa em cái này cả. That's also second first personal pronoun. Em here say that, right? Now, this is another example when we compare French. You know that in French for nouns and for adjectives we have male and female genders, right? For example, the sun is male and le soleil, and the moon is la lune, for example. Table is female, but app. Okay. And yes, book is male. Okay. Le casier. Right? Low and femme. No. In fact. Now, I have never learned Russian, but Russians have 3 different genders: male, female, and also neutral gender. like for some categories of nouns and adjectives, they will be neither female or male. And when you use verb, you need to inflect the verb accordingly. That's why Russian grammar is much harder than English grammar. And this is why You know, this is why when formalism is rising, okay, this is becoming harder and harder for us to do contrastive analysis. To bring you to the point we mentioned previously, if you look at past composite in French and present perfect in English, they are not so different sometimes. Okay. Now, past composite can be exactly like use like simple parts in English like this, right? APTSN and transform. However, it can also be used as present perfect equivalent in English, right? Like in some déjà manger means they have eaten already. Nous avons visité Paris plusieurs fois. We have visited. And these two examples shows that passé composé, if we look at meaning of the attributes of context, can be comparable to present perfect and even though on the surface they look very different. So when you do a contrastive analysis work, okay, this is a very good example, okay, of how we need to look beyond the form. Now, so these are the possible topics that you can work on for the final essay. Later on in our system, there will be an activity in which you need to think of a topic with a TC. In phonetics and phonology, we can compare manner of articulation, position of articulation, place of articulation, literary, sound pairs. On the lexis or vocabulary level, you can compare the mental images or the cognitive conceptualizations that those words present in different languages. For example, dog in English can have many connotations that are different from jaw in Vietnamese, right? So idiom to dogs in English, okay, can be very different from idiom to jaw in Vietnamese. Even though both of them refer to the same reference in the real world. And that type of analysis is very helpful in helping language learners to learn more about the culture of the target language. Now similarly, we have lots of other concepts like fire. Yeah. Fire can have different connotation in different cultures. Well, Lakoff, a very famous cognitive linguist, firstly, a very famous book on women, fire, and dangerous things. Why? That's a very interesting story because some tribes in Australia, some of the native tribes there, when you tell them the word woman, they automatically think about dangerous things. They think about power and dangerous things. And fine. And that's not, that is just, opposite in our culture, right? When you think about the world, you think about something that is very family, gentle, kind, things like that. Right. So some of your essays can compare just concepts like that, like the concept of Reagan in the Western culture or in English, and the equivalent in Vietnamese, compare and contrast. Can you suggest any other concepts that can be similarly interesting? Yeah, idiom would be okay too, at this level. For example, body part idiom like mắt, lòng, mắt, dạ. So some body parts, the intestinal body parts in Vietnamese are used to refer to intelligence. Sáng bụng, sáng dạ, for example. While in English, those organs are never used to refer to intelligence. You need to use the head. He has a good head on his shoulder. Right? And English is very hard to identify idiom containing face to stand for to stand for power. Tai to mặt lớn. Mày ngài mắt phượng. Mồm to miệng rộng. A feature of the face. To refer to the power of the other person. But in English, the face can only be as set up to refer to honor. A loose face, safe face, right? A slap into the face. Yeah. Face down. Now, for grammar, we can compare the corresponding structures and how they are used. For example, present tense in English and Vietnamese, present form in English and Vietnamese. Actually, when you choose to work with grammar, it's quite hard to find suitable topics because of the nature of the two languages. They are not many TCs that can be identified. Now, on the pragmatics level, there can be numerous topics that you can work on. And these are relative subjects, cultural studies. For example, with language functions alone, we can have lots of interesting topics like inviting people in English and Vietnamese, greeting people in English and Vietnamese, introducing each other in English and Vietnamese. When we first meet in our culture, we tend to ask about age, about home, about families, right? The things that are considered very personal, right? Now, if the two English people first meet, what should they talk about? To build, interaction. What should they talk about? Weather. And when they are at the party, they will talk about food. Things that are not personal. You can talk about the way to refer to text, for example, expressions that people of the two culture use to talk about that. In our culture we say đi buôn muối, đi buôn chuối, đi bán vải, đi trộn vàng, things like that. Many different ways. And in English, what do they say? Keep the bucket. Alright? The bucket. Not really a constant way. Go to heaven. Go to hell. Yeah, by what? Okay, yeah, by the form. So that's it, another topic at this level, pragmatic. Now, as we have discussed right beginning about the formalism, when you choose a TC as a topic, remember that you need to refer to their semantic meaning. For example, articles in English and languages that do not have articles. Right? Like in Vietnamese, we do not have indefinite articles. Right? And that's why it's very hard for Vietnamese to learn to tell the difference between are and da. When you are and when you da, even at very advanced level. Right? And this means that you need to find the other ways that Vietnamese could use to refer to the same concepts. Now, for example, in English, French, and German, articles are located before nouns, while in these languages, articles are added to the end of the word to work like suffixes. Now, another important concept that I want to draw the attention to is the difference between semantic and translation equivalence. Basically, what is it? There is an article in the Unity system that I want everybody to read. This is like the core concept for translation technique. Now, basically, semantic equivalence is the literal, translation or the literal equivalence between concepts, between structure. For example, when you say, you can say that again. Okay. Yeah, you can say that again. Okay. You cannot translate literally to anh hãy lặp lại điều đó. Right? If you literally translate it, it's semantic translation. So like word-to-word translation. Translation equivalence should be what the speaker really means, what the message is really about. Now things look easy, but when you are in actual practice, when you need to do translation, you will be in situations in which people speak very fast and a lot, and you cannot memorize all of the utterances that they produce in in such a short time. They will not speak gradually and slowly for you to translate. Your job as an interpreter in that case will be, trying to focus very hard to understand the message, and then put that in the language that you need to translate. And that is translation equivalence. Now, so two sentences from two different languages, I can see that equivalent if they refer to the same ideational, interpersonal, and textual meaning, not the literal meaning only. Now, there are some examples to make the point clear. When you hear somebody say this with a rising pitch, obviously the semantic translation will not be correct. Okay? Now, what does it mean for our lesson about TC? Translation equivalence should be TC for pragmatic, discourse, and stylistic contrastive analysis. When you choose to work with topics on these levels, you need to focus on translation equivalence. If you choose, sentence level, like structures, sounds, or phrases for your analysis, then the semantic equivalence should be your focus. If you try to translate word to word, in order to help people to see how the order in structure and phrases are different. This is exactly what I mean by saying each type of contrastive analysis will require a different TC. Okay. In order to recognize, identify the TC, you need to know well the two languages that you compare and contrast. That's why if you come to me and say, I want to compare Korean, Vietnamese, for example, you need to show me that you are capable of using Korean to the level that you can compare. Otherwise, I will take this. Okay. In the case of having, an essay already, downloaded from somewhere, and you love the ideas, and you want to copy and make some modifications on it. And for appropriate TC, contrastive level also needs to be equal. For example, we cannot compare grammar with grammatical structure with idiomatic phrases or vocabulary, because they are at two different levels. Now, let's do some practical quizzes before we start. Look at this contrastive analysis. This is what is the TC here. What is the TC? Intonation. What is the TC in this case? Huh? What do you think about this? If you give me, a proposal for final answer like this, and we cross you cannot do it, because when you look at this, you cannot find a TC. And then you go down here, you see phonological, morphological, syntactic level. It means that you need to write maybe thousands of pages in order to encompass all of these three levels. When you compare two languages on phonological alone, you have consonants, vowels, and suprasegmental units to compare. Right? So I'm not sure what this, what this writer is trying to write about, but probably this is a very big words. And we do not see the TC. But when we go down here, the TC here is phonological, morphological, and syntactical features of the two languages. Micro-linguistic features. What is the TC in this case? Huh? contrasting linguistics? Huh? What? Placement of the thesis statement. That's in the TC. Placement of the thesis statement. And it can be interesting, right? For example, in English, the thesis statement normally comes at the beginning. In Chinese, sometimes ý tại ngôn ngoại. The meaning or the real message is not inside the text. You need to infer. Now, what is the TC here? Huh? What is the TC here? Huh? Yeah. Newspapers, headlines. What is the TC here? Huh? What? Yeah, arriving events. Arriving events. And frame semantic is a theoretical framework that is used to analyze. Later on, in the next unit, we'll discuss about the methodology and a theoretical framework. What is TC here? A tense. Yeah, simply whispering something about this. This is a wrong title for fantastic linguistic work. Because when you put a title like this, you assume that there are tenses in Vietnamese. But we do not have tenses. In Vietnamese, we do not have tenses. We only use particles to refer to temporal concepts. What is the TC here? Form and meaning of comparative idiom. English and Chinese, English and Vietnamese. Like as strong as an ox. Right? As quick as lightning. What is the TC of the thesis? Yeah. Thành những đối xứng của sinh viên. It's like nghi nhân bất dựng, dựng nhân bất nghi, dựng tốc bất tả. Đầu ngô mình sợ. Yeah. Now, what is the TC in this case? What is the TC? Huh? The TC here is the body part idiom. That's body part idiom. What is TC in this case? is the TC in this case? Yeah. It's all from here up to the beginning. Concept, metaphor, Oedipus, idiom, standing for emotion. In idioms containing X, space, and I. Okay. All of this is the TC. What is the TC in this case? Wow. Thì all of this là dưới niệm về quyền lực và sự kính trọng trong thành ngữ yếu tố thì của thành ngữ. And then these are the two languages. Okay. Conceptual metaphor. I think that's it. And for the homework, I want you to go back to our learning system, read the part that is about semantic equivalence, translation equivalence, and then there will be a journal activities in which you need to submit the topic of the essay. Yeah. Think about that right now, because we have been looking at contrasting linguistics for more than 1 month. Yeah, 1 month has gone by. Now, so you only need to give me, you only in your journal, later I will create. You only need to put in the title for the essay, just like the title that we have analyzed. Okay, and then I want you to comment, make 2 comments, the other 2 people about whether the TC is appropriate. Yeah, you can change the topic after that. But it's good to start thinking about what you want to do right now. Any questions or comments before we call it a day?
Can you write your essay in Vietnamese?
No. Sorry, no. You can write in Chinese to your friend. Those articles were written in Vietnamese just because they need to be published in our university journal. But when you want to make presentation or when you want to get published in conference proceedings in overseas conferences, English is the must. Okay, so no question or comment. Let's stop now and see you next week.